you're in trouble today, buddy. I'm in a good mood.
Oh, this is great.
I got coffee coming. So you were saying you emotionally eat your feelings?
Yeah, no, I do. I definitely emotionally eat. Like, so for the
You don't
last...
strike me as that kind of guy.
So everyone's got to have something, right? Like, so if I get stressed, like right now, it's the dog. Like, my dog is stressing me out. I haven't slept properly in 2 months. And when I start getting sad or thinking about it, it's like I'll eat a little extra. And also, my other job is food. So it's like you're constantly around it. I'm constantly testing things and making stuff. And it's just there. And I'm a good cook, so I'm constantly eating it. So it's hard to keep things, mathematically at the level they should be. So what this stuff does, I found, is it just turns that switch off. That where you want to snack in between meals.
So you're like not hungry.
It just, honestly, it is a miracle drug. It's a miracle drug.
You know what my miracle drug was? Getting off the fucking carbs.
Yeah, so, but that, and I don't know enough about this, so I'm no expert. But you've done keto before, and when you stop doing it, there's a bit of a rebound, right? With everything, too. If I stop doing Manjaro, there'll be some sort of a rebound.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe.
I'm hoping I'm training myself to just eat less, like to get used to it. If I have to take it forever, I don't care. What the hell do I care? But especially with all the stuff that I've shoved through my fucking body. Like, like a clinically approved.
Well, look at us. We're both skinnier since the last time we were here. It's pretty amazing.
But honestly, and it not only reduces that, it reduces how much you want to drink. It basically, it's like that. What's the word I'm searching for? Like the things you crave. It's not just food.
But does it make it like an anti-abuse where you're like, ew, I don't want to eat this ever again?
No. So some people have that reaction. Here's what I will tell you. I don't want to eat fast food at all. I can remember loving it, like Jollibee fried chicken. I fucking love this stuff. I remember really loving it. Like if I couldn't drive by one without, I should probably go in and get a pineapple, quencher and a fucking 2-piece.
You don't strike me as a Jollibee guy.
No. But like, I don't crave fast food at all. At all. Like that switches permanently off on this stuff. But it also, when you do things like that, which affect your mind positively, you look in the mirror, I like what I was looking back a bit better. Now I'm motivated to do more. I'm working out a lot more. So I'm back rowing and lifting weights. It's skipping season just arrived. So I'm going to be in the back alleyway doing my 30-minute soul-crushing skipping.
I want video or it didn't happen.
Oh, done. So I got one. So, being, a content creator, you get brands reaching out to you. So this one Peloton knockoff company is sending me a bike.
Nice.
We're just going to give you one. So just, record your fitness journey. I'm like, done. So it's on the way. So yeah, I find there's you've got to try to control the things you want to control. And I don't think I would never shame you for
Is there a Manjaro for like car purchasing?
So
I need that.
You do need that. Typically it's just your bank account limits that the bank set for you, but you don't seem to have those limits because
every day there's a new car coming in or leaving.
And speaking of which, I was super disappointed when you rolled up into the parking lot here because I was expecting the new one. But let's just for the home audience here.
Is this on video?
Yeah.
Shit.
You bought a brand new drop top roll.
No, it's not brand new.
No, it's new into your driveway is what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, you're already trying to get out of this. So this thing newly arrived. It was delivered to your driveway.
Yes, correct so far. No, it wasn't. It was not delivered to my driveway.
Drop top, suicide doors, blacked out, rims that, new rims, calipers that match your socks. And
here we go.
24 hours in, you trashed this thing.
Not even 24 hours in. I drove out of the dealership and my wife was behind me. And on my way home, on the street of the dealership, I hit a pothole. And because the car is so heavy and the profile on the tire is basically the equivalent of a string of gum, it damaged the tire.
So the rims.
The rim is fine. We've determined that.
Okay. I thought you'd bent
that. Would have been the ultimate walk of shame.
Yeah, that's a big.
But the tire has a bulge in the sidewall from it. This is 4 minutes into my ride home.
It's classic.
So when I got home, I noticed it. I called the dealer and they're like, listen, Like, there's photos of every inch of your car. We'll review the photos. They did. And they were like, this is a you thing. Okay. So, and my wife happened to be like, well, she was hearing this on the phone. She's like, I saw it happen. You hit a pothole. Okay. So yes, I had to send it back. They picked it up. Nice, it was great. They picked it up on a flatbed. They brought it back to me the same day. My daughter somehow let me pick her up from her last day of school yesterday at university, which is awesome. I don't get that opportunity often. She's like, yeah, bring that car. So that's an advantage of having the car.
That's good.
But it was still vibrating a bit, so I still don't have it. So I'm sorry to disappoint you. I didn't.
But you also chipped the windshield.
That turned out not to be a chip.
Oh.
It turned out to be some bug guts. I flicked it with my finger.
Okay.
And
you
it was a little slimy. Yeah.
A little bit.
Did you bring me the orange socks, though?
I didn't bring you the orange socks. I didn't want to embarrass you.
I was kind of looking forward to that because I actually was going to wear.
I'm lying.
I don't match my socks to my brake calibers, by the way.
You did once.
No,
there was a post on, oh my God. This is when you had, I think it was a Ferrari.
You're lying. I've matched calipers to the interior of the vehicle, which is what I did on this one.
It might have been one of those moments where you're just like, my socks happen to match my calipers.
You're absolutely
But I wouldn't, how could I, first of all, why would I make it up? How could I just invent something so ludicrous?
It's you. You're creative. What do you mean? What are you talking about? I've never matched my socks to my calipers.
Okay. All right. Well, if I did imagine it, I'm going to make it happen. So
I'm disappointed.
A series of orange socks coming.
I was expecting it today. I'm not going to lie.
I know. I did forget to buy them. So
good to see you.
It's good to see you. And so let's get into it. I like this banter. And this banter I'm seeing sort of evolving into, you seem to be a bit of a yap creator these days. And I want you to let's jump into that. I'm seeing you like...
Is this a technical term?
Yeah, it's the yap creator is this new thing. There's comfort creator was a big thing last year, and this year yap creators are a big part of the algorithm. I had that meeting with inside Instagram with someone from the team. They're talking about what's happening with the algorithm this year, and a yap creator, like, this is a big year for yap creators, and you, who are always sort of ahead of the curve, seem to you seem to comfortably fit straight into the slot. So when did that happen? When did the light bulb go off and you just like turned that camera around and just started talking?
I love this term, by the way, yap creator, because like anyone that knows me is I'm actually not a yapper. I'm not an outwardly, what's the word? What's the term? I'm not an extrovert. I'm more of a natural introvert, actually.
I would call you an introverted extrovert. Like,
okay, that's fair.
Like you know when to be one,
right?
But it's not your natural.
I can turn it on or off.
Yeah.
But I find when I'm doing it for a platform for a reason, it gives me the ability to just free flow. And the problem that I have when you speak for a living in a role, right, as a CEO or a former hockey owner, when you speak for a living, you're constantly self-assessing your words, your messaging, what you've said. And this is more of like leaning into that fear, because I'm bad. I will pace the floor for 9 hours at night while the house is sleeping, going through every single nuance of what I've said. I'm really bad. I'm hyper obsessive.
Oh, like reviewing things that happen during the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Things I've said.
I used to do that a lot.
Yeah, it's bad. Yeah. It's a really, really bad trait. But I've leaned into it because from a sort of like an imposter syndrome perspective, I'm intentionally leaning into just yapping. And for reason, it can't just be nonsense. If someone can pick off something that I'm saying that can help them in their life or their business or their career or their family or whatever, then that feels good. And I'm doing it to lean into that self doubt, that self ability to understand, or constantly wanting to understand, did I say what's right? Now, by going through those reps, it's like lifting weights. I don't have to worry as much. And that's what's happening. It's starting to diminish this extreme anxiety that's inside my body of like, what did I say in that moment?
So are you moving past this? Is this still a part of you? This pacing the floor?
It's always going to be a part of me. Like a lot of people don't
under
know.
Control now.
It's not even under control. It's just, it's diminishing slightly every time I do it. And like a lot of people don't know this. Like I have extreme anxiety. I've resisted medication. I use other ways to control it, whether it's golf, exercise, travel, relaxation, meditation, etc. but that constant anxiety loop of where my body's constantly always at a clip of like the average human being would be like, oh my God, take me to the hospital. I can't function like this. That's my normal state, right? Just to give you perspective. So
Yeah, that's
when
wild. That's wild.
When I speak for a living or have to stand in front of a boardroom or an auditorium or whatever, I'm constantly coming out of there smiling. People are like, oh, he had a good talk. But for me, I'm crumbling inside. I need to get out of the room as fast as I can so I can like self-reflect on what I'm doing. And then I put myself through agony for 9 hours straight, typically at night, while everyone's sleeping. I'm just pacing the house. And then eventually I'll fall asleep. And then usually within 24 to 48 hours, it starts to subside and then I'm over it. So by doing this, it's like lifting weights, right? It's like reps. And that's why I enjoy yapping and just putting it out there.
That's fucking amazing. I'll tell you, I'll give you a little insight because I used to suffer from that quite a bit, and I've been trying to control it. And I first really noticed that same anxiety when I'm going to speak around the time when we first met at Extreme Startups. It was demo day. I don't know if you were at demo day.
I was,
but this is when I first learned this trick, and I was walking up to that church or whatever it was that we did the demo day in. I had my suit on my shoulder, and I'm walking up, and I could feel this cold gut check bomb just building up inside of me, and I'm like, oh my God. And I was on second, and I got this idea that I'm like, I'm going to know most of these people in the room, like throughout the course of Extreme Startups. I've met most of them, but standing on stage feels, and there's going to be like, maybe I've met 50% of them, but standing on stage was feeling horrifically terrifying. So I came up with this idea, like I'm never nervous when I'm talking to these guys one-on-one. So I started something which I now still do to this day when I'm speaking publicly, is I work the room before I go on stage. So as everyone's sort of coming into the room and getting comfortable, I go and I just say hi to a bunch of people.
Smart.
And I pick 2 or 3 of them. And when I'm on stage, I only look at them. I make sure they're sitting far apart from each other, but I treat it like I'm speaking to just those 3 people. And I got paid to do this stand-up gig. I paid to do the public speaking gig at for the city of Toronto on entrepreneurship. And I was speaking in front of 5,000 people, biggest room I've ever spoken in front of. And I was feeling it that day. And I went early, and I'm like, there's pictures of me on the wall and stuff like, this guy's speaking. I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to die. And I went and worked the room, and I picked up 3 or 4 people, and I just made sure I knew where they were, and I was just looking straight at them when I was talking. And it worked. That's the thing that worked for me.
I had a similar thing happen to, it might have been like 6-7 years ago now. It feels like it was yesterday. Prior to that event, and it was a defining, I've never actually told anyone about this. So again, here I am just spilling my guts to you.
This is it.
Prior to this event happening, which it materially had a dent on my ability to do public speaking or even camera speaking or television work, I would be in front of crowds all the time, on stage, panels, you name it. And it was at a demo, actually, funny enough, for our company. And we were at the headquarters of this car company. There's not a lot of people in the room. It's 25, 30 people. And something happened that day. I think I didn't sleep well. I knew my content inside and out, right? And like that pitch I delivered 400 times. This is how instant things can change your business career, your trajectory. And I didn't sleep well. I wasn't feeling it. And I got up quickly. And just that motion of getting out of my chair so quickly to deliver my content in front of the room, I think changed my blood pressure or something. So what happened was, as I was talking and I was powering through my content and delivering in front of the room, my chest started, because my pulse was fast.
Yeah.
My chest started getting tight, and I couldn't get in air as I was speaking. So I was running out of air. And what happened was, as I was delivering the content to the room, I started panicking because I was wondering if they could see that I couldn't breathe while I was talking, and I was running out of air. And my assistant at the time was sitting there, and she was looking at me, and and I saw her face. So I knew she knew something was up. And I actually had to stop and say to the room, I'm so sorry, but something is going on. And I exited the room. They called me an ambulance, and I left.
Oh my God.
And I ended up in the hospital. And it was an anxiety attack. It was basically, I triggered myself into an anxiety attack, but because it was public speaking from that moment after, for a period of about 5 years, and I'm admitting this now publicly, I avoided any public speaking opportunity. I must have turned down 20 or 30.
Wow.
I had multiple TV related items for like panels on BNN or whatever the case may be. Didn't do those. And it took me a long time to get back to just being even to do this. Just me and you, just with a camera and a microphone. It took me a long time to work that back. And even to this day, there was an opportunity that came up last year at NADA to have center stage, and I declined it because of that moment.
Because you're worried,
Yeah.
Well, because those are devastating. They feel really devastating.
Yeah.
And you know who does that is Scott Galloway to this day, and he's getting paid like $250, $350 for a 45-minute speech. And he goes, still to this day, there is a very, very, very real possibility that I will have a panic attack and the event is over.
Yeah.
You can tell when I'm
at least he owns it.
Yeah.
I respect it. And that's what you're doing, by the way, by you breaking the ice on the stage prior to going on the stage. What you're doing is you're giving yourself familiarity and comfortableness for you to stand in front of people now that you know versus cold. It's a mental thing.
I do it all the time now for everything, just kind of a just in case. Like if I got to go on Ben Mulrooney's show in a couple weeks, and I will show up early. I'm going to talk to his producer. I'm just going to flit about.
Yeah.
I'll just, even though I know Ben, I'll still just break the ice for that moment. I was on Matt Galloway's show once, and same thing. I showed up incredibly early and just sort of milled about and talked to producers and stuff. I just don't want to not know someone who's suddenly staring at me.
There's power in this, by the way. Yeah. I did this once. It was a couple of years ago. It was a big room, and obviously I was in my head before I went up. I just said to the room before I started, and this is how I started it. I cracked a joke. It was the best icebreaker ever because it was natural. I said, what did I say? I said the following. Look, when I speak, I talk fast, number one, and number two, my face is going to turn really red. I want you to know, please don't call an ambulance. I'll be fine. But there is a 2.5 here, which is one time in front of a room similar to this, I actually had an anxiety attack that made me leave in an ambulance. So I just want to let you know that I'm human. And
see, that's brilliant.
And
you're calling it out.
You just call it out. Yeah. And once you do that, it's like gone.
It takes its power away.
That's it.
It takes its power away. That's amazing. Okay, so we both suffer from the same thing. You'd said something when we were talking about being a Yap creator.
This feels ominous.
Yeah. You said formerly hockey. What's that?
We're closing today, actually. We sold the team. And, it's a little bittersweet. I'm sad. We had a great run, 7 years, hard to believe. Won 2 banners. We didn't win a championship. We almost did. We lost in game 6, but it's been great. We've changed a lot of lives in the junior hockey level. We've moved, 20 guys on to post-secondary, NCAA, U Sports, D3, D1 careers that potentially, if it wasn't for our organization, our coaching staff, and what we do, they may not have gotten there. So felt good, and it was time. It's time to leave the sport, and like anything in life, you get to a point where it's going to sound wrong, but it's the only way I can frame it. There's a time where you have to leave when you're not as respected at certain tables anymore.
Yep.
And it was time. Not that anyone was doing anything wrong to me, or I don't want this certainly to feel like victim blaming. That's not the case. It's just your legacy sometimes can be leaving on a high rather than a low. And we felt, when I say we, my wife and I, we felt like we had given as much as we could give to the sport of hockey, the institution of hockey, Hockey Canada, this Canadian Junior Hockey League, the league that we were in, the OJHL, the Ontario Hockey Association. We felt like everything that we could give, and we gave so much. Like, we poured our heart into this thing. It was time. It was time for us to leave in harmony with everyone versus like just exhaustion and your knuckles are bleeding and you're coming out the other side. So strategically, we picked our jumping off point, and it is bittersweet. But yeah, we're closing today. It might be happening now. It might be closed right now. I don't even know.
Well, we'll check in a minute, but that sounds great. I mean, like honestly, I've been watching your hockey ownership journey on Instagram for years now, and you were so passionate. And I'm like, I actually was like, how does he do this and run a company? Like, there's so much you're putting into that, and it's like as soon as your day job's over, the other hat comes on, and off to the game you go Friday night. Like you're there. Like this was a lot of work, and I did not know how much Steph was involved. What a powerhouse of a woman you have there, by the way. She's fantastic. But I mean, I get the bittersweet thing. This has got to be okay. It's probably time, but bittersweet putting it behind you.
It is, and like the hockey world, is it the hockey world? The world in general, from a society perspective, has changed, and it's different now, right? Like the sport has changed. The expectations have changed. How we're raising our kids have changed. How people parent, myself included, has changed compared to, well, what's the comparison? 10 years ago, 20 years ago, 30. Every cohort or age group within the sport of hockey, from like when you're tying up your kids, skates, through all the way up to junior hockey players, even to the NHL, there's a fundamental difference. And even we looked at that and we're like, it's time. For us, it was time.
Okay, so that's interesting. So you and I briefly talked about this before. Like you'd said, there's a big change with parents in sports these days, but
Huge.
I didn't understand that. This sounds like it might potentially be negative.
It's not
Like
negative.
enough to want to say like
it's eye-opening.
Okay.
Okay.
Is it an intensity?
It's, I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
Like we have parents that have kids that are 6 years old that are training 20 hours a week. They're specialized already into hockey. They don't play any other sports. It's all about hockey. They play winter hockey. They play spring hockey. They play summer hockey. And part of the problem is, and I understand, I'm compassionate to those people. If you don't train at that level, you do fall a step behind, or at least that's what your perception is. So what happens is you're just driving these kids to become machines. And yes, they're certainly more talented en masse than they were 30 years ago. The sport has completely changed. But as a result of that, we also, from a societal perspective, I mean, let's be honest with each other, we helicopter parent our kids more so than 30, 40 years ago. And I can point to examples. Like, this isn't just hyperbole. It's like, it's real. So I can just use my own examples. When I was in grade 2, I definitively, I don't know about you, I remember I rode my bike everywhere. I was out until the street lights came on. I had no phone, no connection, no pager, no cell phone, no connection to anything.
Same. Yeah.
Right? If my kid, I'm just talking about myself, forget about society. If my kid was outside right now in grade 2 riding his bike till the lights came on and meeting up with his friends at the green box on the street, I'm freaking out. I'm like, where's my kid?
I think, like, I got started as a parent early. Like, I was finished having kids at 28, which would have been 1999 is when I had Quinn. And I think I might be the tail end of the generation that didn't helicopter parent.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as my kids were in, I think it was grade 4 and 5, I was like, get the fuck out of here. You're going to walk yourself to school. Now, first couple times, did I trail them in the Suburban, like behind to make sure everything was fine?
Sure.
They had to cross Bloor Street and go all the way up Palmerston. But my ex wasn't so fond of it, but I just did it anyhow. I've never met anyone who recently has done that, where it's just like, get out of the house. Like, I gave them each a little mobile phone. This is back when it was just like a flip phone, like this bullshit little flip phone in case I needed to grab them. But I was fine. Go to the park, hang out with the kids, like, do something stupid. That's like, I think more kids need to do something stupid, by the way. I'm old Gen X. So, but I didn't relate that down to like as a sport parent. That's like helicopter parenting plus the intensity of purpose driven into a single vertical sport.
Yeah.
Like for the kid, how the fuck does a kid survive that?
Well, so for me, and scouts for that matter, there's little things that scouts will look for in terms of the next level of a player and who might be good to go to the next level, et cetera. And watching the parents is always a telltale sign, right? You're always, as a parent at AAA, you're always on camera, right? Whether you are on prime time, whether you like it or not. They're observing your behavior, right? Because your behavior certainly has a direct result in your player, right? Or your kid. But here's when I knew, or at least started suspecting, that we were in trouble in terms of societal parenting in sports. And it's very simple. I would go to hockey rinks when my son was at practice when he was 15 years old, right? And I would go into the other rinks where the little guys were practicing, and I would see every father standing in the stands watching the practice of their 7-year-old. From a mental practice.
Oh my God.
Not games.
Oh, Jesus.
They all stand at the top and watch practice.
Yeah,
here's why.
Hard passing the practice.
Well, but here's why. From a mental conditioning perspective for your kid, why that has to stop. We need to stop this in our society. It gives the kid no independence. That's when the kid is actually trying their best, right, at practice with their teammates themselves to improve, to learn from their coaches, to learn, do this, do that, figure things out. And the parents are standing in the crowds, and a lot of them are making facial expressions at the kids. They're telling them harder, harder. They're telling them what to do. And all it's doing is taking away from the player, the athlete, the kid, the development of the infant or the toddler or whatever age they're at, is their own independence to figure things out.
Yep.
And they rely on their parents
agree.
for everything.
100%
And it's embarrassing, number one. And we've gotten to that point as a society. I literally know parents right now that I'm like, why are you going to the kids' practice? And they're like, I have to. I got to be there. Why do you need to be there? Well, because he's going to fuck up. He's going to do something wrong. He's not going to try hard. That's exactly why they're at practice, is for the coach to get more out of them, the coach to identify that, for them to feel failure, to get cut, to be told, to be reprimanded, to get thrown off the ice. Doesn't mean it needs to be demonstrative for the kid. But what it does mean is, for the parents, you don't need to control every single aspect of your kid's development. And we're doing this as parents. We're doing this as agents for our kids, right? And until you actually get an agent for a kid, because really our job is to be the best advocate for the player. Right. And all we're doing is just making these kids softer, number one.
100%.
Developmentally, they're not as refined as they should be, with less independence, less ability for the kid to exert themselves.
100% agree.
I got passionate there.
Oh, you did. It's great. But again, this is like when the kids, like, I grew up the same way as you. I grew up.
By the way, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
Yeah.
This hasn't stopped, by the way.
This is still
existing in junior hockey when the kid's 20 years old. You're getting emails and calls from parents. It's like, excuse me, your son is 20. He's an adult. He can vote legally in our system. He can drink in Canada. You don't need to call me because you're upset that during practice that you were watching, he turned the wrong way and we should have told him that he did the wrong thing in the drill. It happens. That's when I knew
that kid in that particular instance got to learn by error. Because, okay, did he turn the wrong way? If that shows up in a game, something bad's going to go down.
100%.
So shut the fuck up. Stop
We're doing this.
me.
And it's now you play that forward. I'm a CEO of a business. I've had parents email me resumes on behalf of their children. This is happening in our world right now.
Now I know why you sold the team.
No, but it's not. And it's not just a Canada thing. It's happening in America. It's happening less so, I would say, Western Europe, less so. Eastern Europe, forget it. Like, that's not you. I'm half Greek, half Macedonian.
Yeah.
And like the thought of my father sending an email to, I mean, even if he could figure it out, sending an email with my resume on my behalf, forget it. Right? This is happening in North America. I get emails, I would say it's not daily. I'd be lying if I said it was daily. Once a week, where a parent of a 16, 17, 18-year-old is sending the resume to the CEO of the company on behalf of their child, looking for an opportunity for the kid. It's real.
Look, I get wanting to help your kid find the best opportunity. We all want that. You all want your kid to do better than you, find the best opportunity. But part of that has to be teaching them how to go and find that opportunity themselves.
Yeah.
Holding their hand through it is like, at a certain point, doesn't help.
Yeah, I mean, it's not just sports too. It's also in school. I'll say this. Teachers have less capability right now to teach, imagine that, without parents intervening.
Yeah.
In the subject matter, the coursework, the delivery, how they spoke to the child, what the kid's coming home with in terms of how he or she, quote, feels. It's different now. And we've...
Oh my God, I can't believe you and I are landing in the same spot on this one too. Like, get the fuck out of the way of the teacher. Like, we've got a curriculum. We've got systems in place to make sure it's administered properly. Let them do their bloody job.
I agree.
Yeah.
We've conditioned ourselves as a society to be so soft.
Yeah.
And it's not that we need to be hard, and being hard doesn't necessarily mean you are a blunt object. No, it's hard in your principles, hard in your beliefs, hard in the ability to understand that you don't need to control every aspect of your child for them to be successful. The world has some ability to do and refine that. And I'm concerned, right, from a business perspective as a business leader. And this is less of me being old man yells at cloud, right? I feel like that way right now, right? Like, honestly, like the next generation is so soft.
Every day I wake up and if I'm pacing at night, it's like, fuck, what? How many times today was I old man yelling at a cloud?
Yeah, but it's like, this is real. Like, and we all have, I'm self-admitting, I have my ability to do that. I'm self-admitting, I've done this too as a parent, right? And that's our job. To your point, we want to pave the way for success for our children. But like the level we're getting to with every cohort, and it's the only way I can frame it is like age group, it's getting worse and worse and worse and worse as the kids get younger and younger and younger, and the parents by cohort are getting younger and younger. We care so much these days about feelings and emotion, which I think is good. There's a good aspect to that. But when you swing the pendulum that far, what you have is workplaces that have also done the same. And your output, your ability to work as a team versus just individuals, right? Or drive to outcomes with passion and exuberance and grit, it's lessening. I'm seeing this on a daily basis.
Yeah. Yeah. And that comes back, you can draw a direct line back to helicopter parenting.
I would say there's got to be a direct correlation.
Yeah, 100%.
And we need to get more centrist in terms of how we do that as parents. It's not a political thing. It's more of how we as parents ourselves have just been conditioned to be so soft. And we, like, corporal punishment is not what I'm advocating for here, but like, you get what I'm saying,
make
right?
that clear. But and I have two kids, 13 months apart. Same opportunities, exact same parenting journey. They went to the same camps. This like all the sports opportunities and music lessons, whatever, were all laid out in front of them. Such wildly different outcomes. And with my son, it was so frustrating because also along that for the different outcomes, but he also just really wasn't fond of me, and it broke my heart because I have such a tight relationship with my daughter, and then my son, who I just like. Wish I also had that sort of friendship with. And I just did so much, like, just brutal to myself, just on like, hindsight, just like, oh, I shouldn't have done this, shouldn't have done that. The day it all changed was when I stopped expecting something back from him. I just said, you're conflating the two. You want this friendship that you have with your daughter. That's a bonus. Your job as a parent, your job is to make them an adult. So shut the fuck up, Jeremy. Stop crying in your fucking cereal and just be his dad, set out the parameters, and sit back and wait. Just do your job. And it changed everything. It also correlated with him meeting someone really important in his life. This girl he's been dating for a while now, and she inspired him as well. But the day I stopped expecting something back, because I know that I tied that to anger issues with him. Like, I'm so I've done everything. I've been the same dad that Sky has, and as I am for Sky, but it's different from you. Like, you're always mad at me. You're always this. And I don't know what it was. It was just one day I just said, I'm being selfish. And it was really hard to say that because I felt like the victim. I'm like, I've done everything and I'm not getting anything back.
Yeah, good for you.
And I woke up and said, fuck, you don't deserve it. Like, you're not entitled to anything back. You're not entitled to friendship. Your job is to make him an adult. And I stepped back and did it. And a year later, he was just a different guy. Got a job. Like, started excelling, started making money, bought his own car with cash. Like, Now he's running.
Congratulations, you're parenting.
Yeah.
Good parent.
And it's what a difficult journey.
You know what I love about us? This is interesting. I just want to point this out. Pre-show or pre-podcast, pre-show. Look at me. I'm like on next level already.
We're quite important. We're quite famous.
No, but this is what I love about us. We sat there and we're like, listen, we can't over yap. And we're like 20 minutes in and we've asked each other one question.
I've actually asked you 4. But
It's a 4 hour. I don't know. It felt like that was really good.
No, it's good. No, we've got a good rapport. I really like doing this. So look, I'm excited for you because, so probably if we check your phone, team is closed. Yeah,
I don't think it's closed yet. No.
Okay, well, selfishly, I'm excited for this. I'm happy for you because you've sold your team. That's great.
Thank you.
Nothing like a transaction. Selfishly, because we work together, you're my boss at Authenticom, there's now more time for you. I get more adjacent.
Right.
So
is that a good thing?
It's a fucking fantastic thing because we got big plans.
We do.
We got big plans. And 18 months from now, I think Authenticom is going to be, everyone's going to look back and go, holy crap, how did we get here? And this is sort of the genesis, what we've been doing for the last 6 months and what we'll probably start to accelerate now that you got more bandwidth. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about like where business is going. So we were talking about the other day about you have always had such great opinions on this. Like, let's talk about being an entrepreneur and how that, like, what's different, what makes someone different is like, you and I think we're born entrepreneurs.
Okay.
Like, I don't think we had any choice. How is this different than someone who is a career executive who went to the MBA, did the MBA and had a consulting job at Bain and moved their way up or whatever? Like, how is doing what we do, and particularly, very specifically, what you do as an entrepreneur, because you are this sort of rescue CEO that comes in and saves companies. How does your entrepreneur background contribute to that? And what makes that you different as an entrepreneur compared to a career executive?
As an entrepreneur, I'm only speaking for myself. There's, I'm different, man. I'm built different. I don't know how. I have this fire that's inside of me, whether I'm preneuring for myself or being an employeepreneur for someone else or an institution or whatever, that I can't turn off. I can't turn off this fire that's like, we got to do this. We got to go. We got to fix this. We got to fix the problem. We got to find the problem. We got a solution. We got to build. We got to drive revenue. We got to work together. We got to build people. We got to work to be the best with our customers. We got to build our employee net promoter score. It's just, it never turns off. And I used to think it was my sports background, but what I'm realizing is that just was the outer edge of what formed who I am. And it's different than, say, a hired gun. A hired gun gets paid to do what they do. And maybe they have some passion too, but I intrinsically can feel in me fire, man. Like it's constantly going to make everyone around me succeed, make my investments on behalf of whether it's an institutional capital firm, a founder, whomever, succeed. And I can't turn it off. I've tried to diminish it and I run it. I have no way of running it other than it's my own. And I take that care, that duty.
I've noticed that.
Okay.
Which is a good, and I consider that an exceptional quality.
Thank you.
You consider yourself a quick start as well?
I'm a high quick start, but I've learned how to deal with my quick start. You're pulling out Colby, which is very impressive, which we introduced in the company. So I want to say thank you for
I have a
that.
Colby report I have to send.
I need to see it.
I found mine.
I need to see it.
Yeah.
I'm a very high quick start, as most entrepreneurs would be, but I've learned over time, because I understand my Colby, how to control that fire so that I just don't run us into brick walls and learn through experience and be like, well, that sucked. Okay, let's retrench and do it again, right? And it's also taught me to work with my teams so that I can take their input, their feedback, and integrate intricacies of their personality traits into our decision making. And it helps, right? So for example, my lawyer or our general counsel for the company, he's the polar opposite of me, which you would want. I definitely don't want a quick start lawyer, right? I want a high fact finder lawyer. Yeah. So we balance each other out, because when I'm like, go, 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 he's like, Jay, I need to review this. I need to look at it. We need to look at all the different spheres. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I like that.
And that's how I build my teams, right? Is we need to make sure that the Colbys match the role of what they're in and how that matches my Colby or goes against my Colby. right? But that, going back to the question, it's that I'm built different, man, and I know it, and I accept it now. I don't want it to sound elitist or like I'm different or better than other people. There's people that don't have that fire like I do, or that frequency or vibration in my body that I can intrinsically make decisions on, or be a quick start on, or set new strategy for. And like the organization at times can be like, whoa, like that, where's he going with this? Right?
Like, and I don't even know if I have an answer here, but I observe this. And like, I also like look at this, like, I never finished business school, right? So I never got the degree why? Because I had 2 companies while I was in university. One did so well during first year. I bought a house for second year. I'm collecting rent. I'm also a ski instructor. I've got 2 businesses making me money. And I'm like, what the fuck am I in business school for? So I bounced. That's an entrepreneur. But then later on in life, I realized there's a lot of value to career, MBAs, these career executives. And most recently, I looked at this example of, like, I don't think I could ever be the CEO of a company of 200 people like you are right now, or 300 people, whatever we are. I think I'm good at the quick start, get an incredible idea off the ground, empower teams to move, and pick the right path forward. But and this is something that's happened later in life, I hire the right people to get the meat of it, the stuff on my Colby score, which I used to think was a flaw, but I realized that's my superpower. Like, get out of the way as soon as you've architected the idea and the path forward, and let the people who are geared for that to do it, and you get forward and you achieve your goal. But I think at a certain point too, to lead that many people and to herd that many cats, I'm not the right type of guy. But I look at this most recent example of Apple. So Tim Cook, when he passed away, I consider that guy an entrepreneur, classic entrepreneur, built it in a garage, bit of a dick, but he got that company to $350 billion. And then he handed it off to a career executive, to Tim Cook. Tim Cook, arguably one of the best CEOs of all time.
Wait, you were talking about Steve Jobs?
I was talking about Steve Jobs as the cowboy.
I thought you were talking about Tim Cook.
No, Tim Cook is a career.
I was like, wait a minute. I don't think he's an entrepreneur.
No, sorry.
Steve Jobs is. Yeah.
Let me make sure I'll tell that story properly.
Okay.
Steve Jobs is a classic entrepreneur.
Yes.
Like, bit of a dick, built the thing in a garage.
I have a great story about Steve Jobs, by the way. I'm going to share with you.
Got it to a certain point, and still $350 billion valuation, astronomical at the time. One of the most valuable companies on the planet, hands it off to a career executive, Tim Cook, who arguably has returned more shareholder value than any other CEO in history. He took it to $4.5 trillion, and now he's handing it off to a young guy, and I'm being really generous here because he's 50.
Okay.
And this guy sounds like he's another cowboy, which I like the sound of, because I think Apple needs it.
You think he's a cowboy?
This is what so people don't know him well enough. I forget the guy's name, but September 1st, the handoff happens. It's not like Tim Cook's going away. He's going to be the executive chairman. But Apple most likely needs someone with at least a sprinkling of cowboy. Because Tim was not. And is, unfortunately, yes, he returned incredible shareholder value. He also built that fucking headset, which you put on and turn yourself into an unfuckable nerd instantaneously.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
But he launched the AirPods, which arguably one of the best products Apple has ever built. It's going to be AI in your ear. You're going to be able to walk into any country on the planet and hear English in your ear when people talking to you relatively soon. Like, that's an incredible product. But going back to entrepreneurship versus executive or career executive, I think Apple's a pretty great example at an extreme level of, like, started by a cowboy, handed off to a career executive, took it to the best shareholder returns probably ever, and now they're handing the baton back to somebody else. And who is that guy?
There's so much to unpack here, dude.
Yeah.
Okay, so first of all, I don't think Tim Cook in any way, stretch or form is a cowboy at all.
No, not whatsoever.
I agree with you on that. I do agree he did return amazing shareholder value. And what I would say is post Steve Jobs, which was a very traumatic time frame for all of us Apple junkies, we all doubted that company would succeed. And I think where Cookie did a good job is he stabilized and grew the business, which is great. but he did it. And I don't know if a lot of people know this. He did it based on the roadmap that Steve had laid out for him. So Steve went to his grave, from what I understand, with, I think it was, I could be wrong on this, a 10-year playbook. He gave Tim a full decade succession plan from a product road mapping perspective. It's like Steve had it laid out that far for him. And in any entrepreneurial journey, I think where the true cowboy is present, that's actually setting product direction and is the visionary, the person coming in behind that individual has a luxury in that regard, where they just need to keep wheeling the wheel down the road. Don't deviate it too much. Just keep it wheeling and everything will be good. And I think Tim did a very good job. Credit where it's due. The other thing I think with what's happening right now with their transition, and I respect this because you can bring this to Authenticom. He's becoming the chairman. We have a chairman. I have a chairman. I have a founder that I work with daily and who has given me the utmost trust with the organization. But I'll give my founder credit and my chairman credit. He was smart enough to get out of his own way for his own success. And I think that's what Tim is doing. He's realizing now that playbook, that wheel that he kept wheeling down the road based on the playbook that Steve Jobs had set out for him, has run its course. And the business now needs someone, he needs to get out of his own way. He'll still be involved transitionary-wise, shareholder-wise. It provides longevity. It provides partnership. It provides a solid foundation for the company so investors aren't freaking out. And it brings in someone new. And I think what they're hedging on is this guy's going to be their new cowboy. I can't speak on what I don't know. I don't know this guy well enough. I don't know his background.
I don't know well enough. He's 25 years at Apple.
But I'm hedging based on
his life.
What would be the roadmap that Steve probably laid out. It's like, I have to imagine Steve Jobs said this. When you get a little old and the wheel is wobbling, get out of the way and bring in the next person that's going to take this to the next level. That's how it feels to me.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was also shoulder tapped on this one. And here's why, because he's probably
by the board?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I think if Steve did give him a 10-year wheel, knock the wheel down the road path, he's 5 years past that. And what's happened in those last 5 years is the ridiculous Vision Pro, dropping the ball on AI, and the decision to not build data centers, which arguably all three of those, incredibly stupid.
I would agree.
Yeah. So, the company, I think the company needs this life. I think because they were getting close to where it's like people were going to start looking at Apple going, is just a little bit of a tarnished.
There's a thing here though, and we can't gloss over this. In the business world, the smartest people by far are the executives that have done well, that have made change happen, that have made positive differences in their business and their employees' lives. They need to know when to step off.
Yeah.
You got to leave on a high, not when everything is just flames around you. And it's very hard to do. Not a lot of people, if you were to poll 1,000 people that have been there, done that before, I guarantee you a small percentage will never have actually made the decision to walk when it's high. You know why?
Very hard.
It's ego. They all want to ride the wave when it's high. And most of them, when it starts diminishing, that's when they try and get out. It's the wrong thing to do from a legacy perspective, respect perspective, and most importantly, long-term success perspective.
This is a Jerry Seinfeld thing. It's always leave them wanting more.
Oh, yeah.
That's why he left with Seinfeld was the peak. They offered him $5 million an episode to come back and do one more season. He's like,
it's my time.
He goes, we are leaving at the top. We are the top rated show. They begged us to come back. We left.
There's something to it, right? And I don't know. I still fundamentally believe this. I believe the smartest people in business in life, but to relate it to business, are the ones that have the wherewithal, the ability, and the class to walk when it's at its height versus when it's at its bottom.
So that's a good segue.
Is
it?
it?
Just sort of, I merged, entrepreneurship in media with Jerry Seinfeld. And you and I have discussed this a lot. And now that you're a Yap creator, I'm sure your opinion is going to, you're going to have strong opinions on this. Everyone has heard the phrase, every company is a media company now.
I fundamentally believe that.
I 100% believe that. And I'd love to hear your thoughts on that and why that's going to be so important. How, in that world where every company is a media company, once again, now every company has to differentiate themselves from other companies. So how is that best done?
Well, first of all, it's not just every company is a media company. There's also the CEO of every company has to be at the forefront now of the media narrative on behalf of the company, on behalf of the mission, on behalf of the values, on behalf of everything you believe in. I think people now are looking for the sound bites, the forward presence, and the person that's at the helm to publicly talk about what the leadership direction is of the company. And it doesn't always have to be in like button down settings, full camera, makeup, shareholder review meetings, quarterly reviews, and no. It's free flowing. It's what you stand for. It's what you believe in. It's what you're building and how you're building. People are looking for that now in terms of the opinions they form of the businesses they deal with. I think anyway.
100%. And I think like you said, it doesn't always have to be about the company and, our quarterly results and buttoned up. Mm-hmm. And there's one guy who does this arguably as well as any other. He's not necessarily the CEO, he's the president, is Harley from Shopify. He's fantastic.
100%.
And he's just got this pacing that I love where it's like personal, something ambitious, like he's doing, walks up Tremblant a couple times to mimic going up to the
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom every Friday night with the kids. He loops his kids in and his family. Like you're peeking behind the curtain and you're getting a glimpse of what it's like to be this person who's operating at this sort of high performing level. And then, the great lighting comes out, the 4K camera, and we're going to drop integration with ChatGPT. We're going to drop our Q3 results. He's really good at balancing it. And it's not one, he doesn't drop the ball. Like it's this pacing that I'm sure he's got a team around him that's making sure he keeps up with the pacing. I'm sure there's days like us where it's just like, I don't want to do it. But the pacing's there and the consistency is there. And good or bad, the consistency is there.
I will fully admit that Harley, it's funny you bring this up, that Harley was my inspiration point when I started realizing, why am I not doing this? He is so good at it. The team he has is phenomenal. Frankly, it's why you're here, right?
Yeah. No. This is one of the first things we talked about.
And I'm seeing now blog posts about like CEOs needing to be in front of the business publicly, not just on CNN or whatever, but our non-traditional forms of media, podcasts, sound bites, blogs, Substack pages, etc. And he was my inspiration because I saw he was up to this on his own. It wasn't like he was orchestrating something like no, he was just authentic about it, and it started making me look at Shopify a different way, right? And that's when I connected it in my brain. I was like, here's a human, here's a leader. He's like publicly putting himself out there. People know about his family, his values, etc. Shabbat Shalom, his wine, his cottage, and wherever it is. I think it's in Quebec somewhere. At least that's what I can ascertain. Yep. And that's what put me onto this. And sometimes as business leaders or managers or whatever you do, you got to have these like moments where you capture it from an inspiration perspective from someone else. And you need to run with it and make it your own. I haven't figured it out yet for me. I'm like, I don't care. I'm not into this like yapping and putting stuff on my Insta for like for some reason. Like I know for sure right now, and this is just kind of the nature of like social media, there's people scrolling through my page, and it's probably my friends, maybe even my family. They're like, what is he doing? This is so cringy.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
Right? And I'm like, I don't care. No, I don't care anymore.
Stick your head elbows deep up your ass if you're fucking saying that about any one of us. Like fuck off. Like I don't care.
Okay, that's a position.
Yeah. Like anyone saying this type of shit, be like, what are you doing? Just stand back and watch.
Yeah, and it's like, those are the people that should be supporting you the most, by the way.
100%.
I try to make a point of like whenever I see my friends or colleagues or whatever that are putting themselves out there like that, to support them and like their comment or comment on it, because you need that, right? It's a vulnerable position to be just like putting out anything on social media for the sake of it not being social. By the way, we should talk about this. This just hit me. You ready for this? I'm going to blow your mind.
There we go.
I don't think social media is social anymore. It's like when 20 years ago, maybe even longer. Oh my God, I'm dating myself. When I created my Facebook account, it was different back then. It was like, people were like, I'm going to the store. Or what was it? It used to say on Facebook, what's on your mind?
Yeah.
And like people would randomly post like,
it would say Jeremy Potvin is, and
right.
you had to finish a sentence that the third word was fucking is.
Right. And we'd post like a picture, like a grainy picture off our BlackBerry or whatever, our flip phone, right?
Oh, yeah.
And like we could barely see what it was, but that was social. We were like being social on social media. Now everything's like, it's different. It's not social. I'm getting fed into my timeline shit that I'm interested in.
Yeah.
That of people I don't even know.
Well, I think it's actually the word social has changed. Like we just assuming like connect social to, and it was our friends. Someone would come back from their trip to Cancun and they would just dump their entire pictures because they didn't want to do it the hotel Wi-Fi and the data plans were too expensive back then. So they'd wait till they get home. And next thing you know, 30 pictures, and they would send them out every 15 minutes because Instagram would penalize you if you did more than one picture per 15 minutes. And they would just dump the shit. And people have been complaining even to this day, like, I don't see any of my friends' pictures. It's because your friends' pictures fucking suck. Instagram doesn't want you going away. Like, if we just showed you your friends' pictures, you'd be off this app in about 10 minutes.
But that's the thing. Like,
so that's what's different. The social, it's not your friends anymore.
It's not.
Instagram knows what you like before you like it.
And
it's going to feed you that.
The whole moniker and category of what social media isn't social anymore. Algorithms are forcing stuff into our content that's more interest related, specifically to our taste, our interest, what we're looking at, what we're liking. And that's what they're pumping in. And like 99.9% of the shit that's coming into my algorithm these days is like, has nothing to do with my friends or family. So there is no social about social media anymore.
It figures out so quickly everything going on. It knows my dog's about to die. It knows that I'm building applications to help a business. It knows that I am wildly interested in CEO content. Like, it is feeding me and it's creepy to the point where it's like, pretty sure this thing's reading my mind.
Yeah.
Like, it's incredible. And like, then I see the odd post of, my friend in Playa for the weekend. Okay, great. To be honest, I'm happy you're having a great vacation. I'm barely interested in this anymore. Let me get back to how AI is going to change everything. That's kind of what I'm super interested in right now. So maybe you're right. Maybe the word social media doesn't fit anymore. Yeah.
Should we like have some fun and talk politics?
Oh boy.
Because like for those that don't know you and I,
like
to say that you and I were on opposites at ends of the spectrum politically would be an understatement. Like I want you to know, I have friends. I'm not going to name them right now. But I have friends that used to watch. No, I'm serious.
Yeah.
Let me finish. I'm gonna articulate this. I have friends that back like 10 years ago when Facebook was more of like a Facebooky thing in terms of like social media, and people were like following what people are saying and doing. I have friends that used to watch the way you and I would debate. On Instagram.
Probably thinking we hate each other.
Yeah, they are like, who's this Potvin guy that absolutely hates you? I'm like, no, he doesn't hate me. He just hates my views. And like, right? So, but an interesting thing has happened. And I'm sure I shocked you with this. What did I say to you recently where you were like, what is happening?
The gravity of each other is attracting us towards the center point, which is kind of off-putting. No,
is it off-putting?
No, it's not off-putting at all, to be honest. It's like, it's kind of great to see, and I actually think there's something larger to it. I think this is about to happen to the whole country. I think we are hitting a spot where we're achieving balance again, and I don't think our country has had it in a long time.
Okay,
we used to always be on the same team,
but isn't it your party that swung it that left?
We can talk. No, that's a whole other podcast. So yeah, look, Justin did some good things and did some things that were off-putting.
Okay, that's fair.
Right. Yep. And Carney, I've never been more proud of a prime minister. And I worked on Brian Mulrooney's campaign in 1984. I was out canvassing and helping organize that campaign. So I've been on all sides of, like, I grew up a conservative and I became liberal. And while Carney probably isn't progressive enough, I'm not sure we need that right now. We did a lot of it. We overswung the pendulum during Justin's tenure.
I would agree.
And I think Canada, I think, as a country leads with empathy. And I really am proud of being a Canadian for that purpose.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel that our country, and again, you and I think 6 to 12 months out, and we probably notice things 6 to 12 months out. I think you and I standing on the same lily pad finally in the first time in years might be 6 to 12 months out of what the rest of the country is going to experience.
I think so. I mean, like historically, for the record, and I've told you this before, I have voted both ways, just for the record.
I know.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I think people would look at me and they would say, well, for sure he's a conservative, or for our American friends, a Republican. And I think by natural state, I'm actually a left-leaning Tory, right? A red Tory, right? By Canadian definition.
Yeah.
And so I guess in today's day and age, I would say that's a centrist.
Yeah, I typically disagree with the word, the term centrist, and here's why. Like using something non-Canadian as an example, so we don't have to get into the tape up our knuckles here. If I asked you, what's your centrist view on alligator Alcatraz? You probably couldn't give me one because there isn't one. That's a horrific, insane idea. There's no centrist view on it, right? That's pretty binary. So typically I'm not fond of the term centrist, but I get what you're trying to say. And I think I'm always happy to be wrong. Maybe my extreme definition of this in that extreme example isn't the best way to frame it, because I don't give a shit at the end of the day. I really like watching Canada remember what it's like to be on the same team. Trump did that. Carney picked up the ball, and he's executing it, in my mind, pretty close to perfectly, because I find Canadians are coming back together again. Reasonable Canadians.
Do you know why? Because things are coming back to the central point.
So happy to be wrong. That if you're
Look at
right,
you. You're evolving, brother. This is amazing. And this is why I'm saying I'm swinging more left than what I normally thought I was. Yeah. I think I'm a liberal. I think I'm a Democrat. This
altruistic guy, I'm pretty much happy with. This is going to be controversial. The I hate billionaires thing. I get it. I don't think we need them, but I think it's wrong to point at the top and scream that we got to get rid of that. I think what the energy should be. Yeah, I know.
I'm sorry.
Get ready. The energy should be pointed at the bottom, and we should say we need to build a system where we cannot leave anyone behind.
Okay.
Because the gravity to get there while you're dragging everyone up with you, reach for the stars, because you're only going to pull the bottom up with us.
I can't believe what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's
yes,
when
I
I
agree
say
with you.
that's me. That's my empathy is I didn't like the most recent version of conservatism, which seemed to purposely leave people behind, where we demonized immigrants and we demonized Muslims and let's not go through every single marginalized group, but they were all on someone's hit list. And that's the part I didn't like about recent conservatism. And because guess what? It wasn't Brian Mulroney's party. Kim Campbell took care of that. This is Preston Manning's derivative horseshit party. And it was part of the playbook. And I think they're all looking now going, oh crap, this didn't work at all. We got to abandon this.
I think the problem though is like, I don't necessarily agree about the immigrants thing. Like I recently have gone through an immigration scenario with the United States of America.
Yeah.
And that administration, for my own qualifications and what I'm bringing to the table, I mean, it was almost a 2-year process for me.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm incredibly proud that I went through their system to be able to have what I have with the United States of America. Now I'm a Canadian citizen, but I, as you know, run an American company. For me to be a Canadian that is now running a global American company required me to go through a lot, and my family. So like immigration, going through that process, that immigration process per se, I realized how important an immigration policy is. And I think that's where people get lost. They get super emotional of like, okay, well, what about the immigrants that get into the country that shouldn't be there? They did it the nefarious ways, et cetera. Yeah. And I think that's where things get lost in communication.
Sure. And the biggest communication is that it's not a federal offense. It's a misdemeanor. And that's when I get my back up, when it's like people jump in there as though it was a federal offense. We got to throw them in a prison. No. You need to course correct it, but this is a misdemeanor. This is not a federal crime. This is not a murderer. So, and like, let's not get too deep down this rabbit hole, but I'm also surprised that we are standing on the same lily pad, so to speak.
It's been 20 years.
It's been a while, and I don't have much to, we aren't arguing about this at all. Have you ever noticed?
Look at us. It's
look
harmony.
at us. This is fantastic.
Maybe North and South America and everyone else should be on the same footing that we are.
I feel, again, we're 6 to 12 months out, and I think we lead the way. So, while we're always ahead of the curve on everything,
Naturally.
and we're noticing that that left and right, and the people are putting the swords down and talking to each other a lot more. This is also occurring in a world where AI is literally just everywhere. I think we both have discussed this before. It has been floated that political structures are going to start using LLMs to help them with decision making.
I think so.
Where are your thoughts on this? To me, I'm like, okay, I worry about the qualifications of people that we elect. I also worry about the people who benefit from AI, and that's a larger discussion, but I'm worried that combining people who I'm not terribly fond of benefiting from AI and their systems handed off to people who aren't as qualified for their job as they should be, now using this combined entity to make decisions that affect us.
Yeah.
That's one thing I worry about.
I think we're going to see AI in places we've never seen it before, for sure.
100%.
I think judicially we're going to see this. I think
that's terrifying.
It is, right?
Yeah.
But on one hand, it's interesting, right? Because all the emotion, all of the bias, all of the whatever may come out of the way, and judicially decisions are being made, I guess, from a machinistic view on what actually is the definition of law in that particular case. Not to say that a human can't determine that, but I think we are going to see that in certain instances. I think we're going to see it politically as well. I could see in the next 100 years, like somewhere politically where LLMs are running governance, maybe.
The thing that when you hear people complain about government, like, oh, government's too big and these bureaucrats and blah, blah, blah. If it could take away a lot of heavy lifting middle management processes in government, I see that as a benefit.
Yeah, me too.
Whether it's like, you're a developer and you're trying to build affordable housing and the zoning is in the way, and the process to get from zero to shovels in the ground is 3 years, and we can take that down to 9 months. Bring it on. Let's do it. But at the policy level, sounds fucking insane.
I know, but it's that outlandish thinking that keeps me awake at night of like projecting, is this going to happen? I think it will. I really do. Could LLMs run companies someday? Hard to say. I'm jury's out on that for me at this juncture. I still think from a leadership perspective, you need feeling through floorboards, people, human. I don't think it's going to be completely to a point where an AI can like write its own program, build a program, staff the company based on recruitment techniques, postings, right through to interviews and hiring the right people.
It would never build that company.
Well, someone has to get. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, there is.
It would build a company with. It would just create its own agents.
Well, yeah, that's my point. It would create it. Would it interview people? I don't know. It would create. So, it's possible, but the bottom line for me with AI, and we've been really as a company utilizing it for our own success, is we're utilizing AI specifically to assist our people internally to make them more efficient in what they do. And we're doing training on this. We're learning. Some people are using Claude. Some people are using ChatGPT in some instances. Some people are using Whisper AI, which has been great. There's AI throughout our company right now.
Oh yeah,
and it's interesting because normally a CEO would work with the team to write the AI strategy for the company, where it's more the products you're going to build that are AI oriented. We did the opposite first. We built our AI strategy from an inward out perspective instead of the products that we're building outward. We looked at AI and how we can make ourselves better, more efficient, more competitive, as a business before rushing to be a part of this AI crowd of like, we need to go build all these AI products so that the world can consume it. We looked at ourselves inwardly first, and I'm pretty proud of it. I think it was the right move because what I'm seeing from the AI usage in our company is it's paying off dividends.
Yeah.
And we're not utilizing AI with the forward-looking view of just replacing people or cost efficiency. No, we're using AI with the mechanism and the mantra to make everyone successful internally within their roles. I don't want to replace humans. I don't.
No, I'm building something right now for us and for the team, just to help us get, just building like this. If I can talk, maybe this might end up being off the record, but one thing I find with our team sometimes is everyone's so hyper focused on launching something. And then they're like, and it's like the normal fist fight to get us to the point to launch it. And then once we've launched it, they're like, well, we've launched it. On to the next thing. I go, no,
we didn't plan into the launch.
Is the first day of the work. That's like, especially with what I'm doing with the teams, when we launch something, that's not the end of it. That's literally the beginning of it. So I'm building something that gets us to launch as fast as possible, but then explodes everything we've done after the launch and then tracks the living shit out of it. So I can't wait to show it to you.
I'm really disappointed you didn't bring the orange socks. I didn't wear socks today, by the way.
God damn it!
Because I
don't know how I fucked this. I don't know how I fucked this up. I completely forgot to buy
Sidebar.
these fucking socks. And going back to looping back to them, look, you can see how people when they're using AI the right way, it creates excitement because you can see results. Like I really firmly believe.
Does it create excitement or does it create skepticism out of the gate?
I think skepticism comes from when you get these fucking nerds on a stage going, our AI is going to take away all your jobs and we don't give a flying fuck how you're going to eat yourself, feed yourself, or pay for rent or anything. Actually, fuck off and stop asking us about it. That's when people are pissed off. People, I don't think, are pissed off at AI itself. It's a very useful tool. And the way we're using it at the company, in almost like a micro way, it's benefit and you can see it. But what people hate about AI is the people at the top and who's benefiting from.
Because most people, and I say this on behalf of the CEO or business leader community. Not that I've been coined to do that, but look at that.
Oh, Jesus.
Or do I feel that I have the responsibility on behalf of the business community to be the guy to say this? But, I think there's a lot of CEOs out there that are using AI more so to create positive EBITDA and just drill people out of the company to increase and pad their performance instead of building the company the right way, which is planning into it, creating products that the market wants or doesn't even know what they need yet, marketing it to the community, getting buyers to uptake, and then growing your business. I don't run Authenticom or our company based on how much I can wring out of the towel from an efficiency perspective or just chop off the top to make, quite frankly, our executive team look good. We do the opposite. We put in the hard work to grow it naturally as businesses should be grown. And there's a lot of, especially CEOs that are running public companies. For those that have never worked in a public company, in an executive suite before, or run a public company, there's multiple ways to run that business. Most CEOs these days are, and they've been trained and they've been conditioned to do this, it's also their personal direction, is they chase quarters. So if you're chasing a quarter, what's the easiest way to make your number if you're going to miss? Before you have to get in front of a shareholder earnings call and potentially be whipped and pillaged by the community that is there or the street that's investing in you as the CEO. What's the easiest thing to do? You just absolutely find efficiency anywhere you can find it. AI is the easiest way for them to do it.
100%.
And they just lop 100 jobs off. Well, on a positive earnings basis, we're now this and this and this. But the metrics are showing you cut your way to profitability. It has nothing to do with the performance of the company. You use the easiest methods ever to make your quarter.
They look at line items and what can I cut?
That's it.
And you see, if you drop the phrase AI something or other 122 times during your earnings call, you've stayed the execution.
I just remembered I had a great Steve Jobs story when you were talking about Steve Jobs. I'm not going to name names, but I do have a friend of mine that worked for Steve Jobs directly. This was back in Steve's, what was it called? Next Computer? Next. And he told me that working with Steve Jobs was something because the guy was on the touch of brilliance constantly, right? But he was belligerent. Like he was just a different type of leader. So he told me that in Canada, they had a meeting once. This is a true story. I mean, unless he's lying to me. He was on the executive team on the Canadian side of Next. And Steve would chuck whiteboard markers at people in product meetings if they didn't have good enough ideas. He would whip whiteboard markers at people in the office.
I actually think he might be responsible for a wave of just really poor behavior from CEOs, because people look at that
and they're like, it's good, you can do that.
Like, he had got kicked out of Apple. He started Next. This was pre-Pixar. And there was no version of all the stuff he was doing that wasn't success, but he was always the renegade. And everyone just saw this belligerent behavior. Oh, that must be the path I have to walk on to achieve the same equivalent success. No.
It does create an interesting dichotomy.
And I've been a dick like that. I'm sure you have at one point in your career.
I've completely changed how I lead.
Yeah.
And it's taken a lot of, I'm still doing the work. It's taken a lot of reflection, coursework, feedback. And it creates an interesting dichotomy from a business leadership perspective, because there is, we talked about this societally, like if people are softer now in feelings, and the guy that I was 20 years ago running my company, if I was to be that guy now, I wouldn't be in the role that I'm in. And it's interesting because there's this other side of me, and this is the constant battle that I have going on inside of me as a human being and as a business leader, which is, who are you and how are you holding yourself and portraying yourself in key moments of pressure? The stoicism view from a leadership perspective is going to tell you that no matter the pressure or the environment you're in, stay calm and never let them see you sweat, just to kind of break it down in a simple form. But then you get people that are he's just too calm. He's too mute. You get people that perceive that you can be walked all over. There's no passion in the company. And then there's other people that are no, I don't want to be led that way. Steve led on literally all of that. I don't even in his product, announcements, there wasn't a lot of joyism in it. It was just raw delivery. Where he always led people to believe there's something next, right? They're on the verge of something next.
There was an arrogance to it, and there was also I know what you want before you want it.
Right.
Most of the time, he was kind of fucking right.
He was, but he led in a way that was just so polarizing.
Oh yeah,
and dictatory at a time back then when he could. That I always wonder what would he run and operate like now in today's day and age?
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see. And honestly, it feels like yesterday when he passed, but it's 15 years ago, which is wild.
But it's had a profound effect on how I lead. And there's this push-pull that's in your natural personality. I mean, I'm a fiery individual to begin with, right? So my natural state in anything, whether my wife is debating me on the region of wine we should be drinking that evening, and if I don't believe in it, I'm seeing red. It's just who I am. It's that passion inside of me to want to lead and make decisions together. I think, it's adapted how I've had to lead, because there's people that are not receptive to that anymore. And if you want to get more out of people, you have to fill them with positivity, deal with them in a certain way that is both empathetic, number one, but emotional, number two, and make them feel like they can see the other side of their success. You know what I mean?
Was that version of Jay, where you were leading with a little heavier hand, was that a way for you to combat the anxiety you felt on a day-to-day basis?
No.
Is there a relation there?
No. I was just so junior back then. Stoicism, for its own perspective, I mean, you can study stoicism all you want. The reality is the people that have pedigree and experience, they've just been through shit. When you've been through shit, it doesn't phase you as much,
That's
right?
True.
Where everyone in the board, you can control a boardroom of people if they haven't been through it, but you have, and you can control the emotion in the moment. It's not that you're better at controlling your emotions than they are. It's just you've been there, done it, and you've seen those movie credits roll when they haven't, right? And I think that's where experience and leadership matters. But it's also a little bit of refinement. I've changed how I am as a leader. And I'm working on it daily. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, not only in business, but also my marriage and how I am as a father. It's you got to just be constantly doing the work as a man. And I'm speaking as a man right now and as a human being. And I have been, I think.
You are constantly doing the work. I will give you that. That's something that's very obvious.
Why is it obvious?
I mean, maybe it's because I know you well, or I feel I know you well, but I just have never seen you not moving.
Yeah.
Like you're like, whether it's the hockey team or you, like even in between cycles when I know you and I knew you were down, you're still doing the work on what the next thing was going to be.
Mm-hmm. That's that fire inside though.
Yeah.
Just built different, man. Yeah, it's interesting perspective. Thank you.
So speaking of stoicism, you know, that people hear that word and you also hear silence. And you and I have recently spoken about building, and you made a post about it recently, actually, where you're talking about building in silence versus building in public.
Oh, this is good. This is a good one. One of the worst forms of advice that I've been hearing, and I don't know where it's coming from, whether it's the creator community, the business community, or people just viewing social media as like, I don't know, viewers, is this thought processing of build in silence. Never let them know your next move. And I think that's terrible. I think that's horrible advice, because what we're doing is we're muzzling populations that have tremendous ideas, tremendous views, tremendous ways that they want to evolve things, right? And we're just like stifling evolution, maybe? Like tradition stifles evolution. You know what? I'll give you a great example. This Christmas, I'm not having a turkey. I've just decided. I'm having ham.
Okay.
Because like, why do we have to have turkey on Christmas?
It's a stupid bird.
This is what I'm saying. And the traditions stifle the evolution.
Yeah.
So like, you should be building. No, I'm not putting it out there to floss on people. I'm not out there being like, yeah, here's what I'm building and it's going to return me this much of an investment. And that's what it's going to mean to me. And therefore, you know, here it is. Let me put it in your face. No, it's about like being proud of your team and talking about your successes and what you're building towards together collectively, and how you're taking a stand for something constructively to make things better. How I'm relating to hockey, right? How you're bettering a community. Like, talk about it, right? Like, why are we stopping ourselves based on this philosophy? Like, someone might chirp you on social media. Like, everyone that's looking at me on social media, like I said earlier, probably even my family and my friends, they're for sure reading my shit going, this guy's so cringy right now. I don't care.
To be honest, I bet you it's fewer people than you think.
I don't know,
you
man.
And say, this guy's cringy.
You'd be surprised how on a weekly basis I get people sliding into my DMs that I know well that are like, I know why you're doing this, or you're up to something, or why are you talking about this? So cringy. Why? Like,
really?
Oh yeah. Or what did I hear recently? Are you the next business guru that's going to sell courseware? Like,
oh god.
Just everybody.
Okay, I can see why people might think that.
Right? Like,
yeah. So the best thing is like make a list and do none of that. Like, obviously not courses, but anyhow.
How about just building legacy? Like, here's the thing. Here's an interesting perspective. It's pretty dire, right? Or dark. We're all going to die someday.
100%.
And our kids are going to die.
Yep.
What legacy is left behind if I'm not putting YAP content, or whatever we're calling it, out there for people to remember my name, of what I've built, what I've stood for, what I've put out for the world that has made a little bit of a dent in the universe that I'm in this massive ecosystem that we live in and work in? What legacy will ever exist if I'm not putting it out there because I'm too ashamed of what my friends are going to think and call me cringy?
Right. Okay. So the permanence of video content, you know, I think here's the thing about legacy, because that is true. Like, legacy, I think, is like kind of bullshit, right? It's like, when I'm dead, who fucking cares, right? Like,
I don't know.
The only legacy I care about is my family.
But what if you made enough of a difference in the world that it changed someone's life, and that is important to them for your legacy?
I get it. Like, there's just certain there's gravity to certain things that one does that can last generations, right? Like, we're still sitting here talking about Steve Jobs. Okay, so he's got a legacy. He's built one of the biggest companies that's ever existed. I mean, my family, like, I'm the direct descendant. My great-great-grandfather is Sir William Mackenzie, who built the railroads across Canada and built the TTC. And It's a mega legacy. We own the top of Avenue Road and all of Balsam Lake, and who fucking cares? Like, it doesn't change my life in any way. I don't have railroad money. I don't think it's part of it. The only thing we have left is my brother's middle name is Mackenzie. That's it.
That's exactly the point, though.
Yeah. I think every guy, especially guys who are ambitious, they think that, like, what's my legacy going to be? And I used to 100%, just so we're clear, I'm not trying to put myself on a pedestal. I used to 100% think this way. And then one day I just realized, it's kind of around the same time I was like, I got to stop expecting stuff back from my son. It's like, what am I fucking doing, man? I don't need a legacy. I have simple jobs ahead of me. I need to make my son a man and make him a productive member of society. And I just need the things that are going on in my life right now to be as amazing as they can. If people want to remember me after I'm gone, I hope so, and I hope it's with fond thoughts, but I'm not sure, like, trying to achieve some sort of, like, plaque on a wall or a tree planted downtown Toronto with my name on it, or I don't know. I stopped thinking about legacy a long time ago.
I don't know, man. I think you should change that viewpoint, because from a collectiveness perspective, all of our legacy matters. Because if we're moving the needles the right way as a community, and as partners and as human beings, that togetherness actually builds a legacy together, as opposed to individualism. And that's why, from a business perspective, I'm operating differently now, because when you get to a certain point, right, in terms of net worth, income, money is just like, you can just buy whatever you want. Like, you can go on vacation,
there's a plateau to the happiness.
Yeah, you private
the journey
jets.
from 30 million to like 300 million, there's no more happiness.
It becomes different now. It's about more. It's about building teams and structures so that they can all be successful. It's about them achieving new heights in their careers, their personal lives. Not like, when you have the income to go buy whatever you want to buy, that shit just wears off. It's like money, like, it doesn't matter. It's about you. I would have way more self-satisfaction in getting you to the next level of whatever it is that you want to get to than sitting on a yacht in Saint-Tropez next month.
So that's legacy. If you can lead with that type of empathy and leave that type of an imprint as how to lead and how to lift up, that's what I was talking about before, no one left behind, and help lift other people up. And that's why I changed my parenting. And it changed. So maybe, look, everyone's got an ego. Deep down, you dig deep enough in me, like, okay, I hope someone remembers me. I hope I do something. Whether I like it or not, there's going to be fucking cooking videos of me on the internet till the end of time. So that legacy's there.
It.
If someone's going to want to cook my braised tofu recipe that this guy posted 45 years ago, he's long gone, it's there.
That's your legacy.
There's currently my legacy. The idea of a railroad across Canada or anything like that left my brain a long time ago, and call it a micro legacy that my family can be proud of. That is exciting to me.
Yeah. I for me personally, I want to be remembered when I'm gone as not as the guy that matched his brake calipers to his socks.
I can't believe I fucked this up.
It's more about how many people I built along the way to be successful in their own right. That's how I want.
Okay, I'll give you some.
But it's not easy.
I'll give you some positive feedback. You are very good at this right now. Like, and this is different than the guy I knew, years ago, or maybe I just didn't know it. But you obviously want to lift your team members up. That is very clear.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate the feedback.
So going back to the stoicism and building something in silence versus public, I totally agree with you. Have you noticed this? I think let me sort of back it up a second and preempt it. I think this silence versus not is something to do with young founders. And I think guys like us have dropped the ball mentoring young founders, because I used to do a ton of mentoring, and it's very little now. But I notice, I look at these young founders and they're doing this building in silence. And have you seen these hats, single till Series B?
No.
And I've talked to a couple founders, like, just in Instagram comments about this, and they're like, "Oh, we're built differently." I go, "Okay, kid, you're not. You're not special." But I go, to be honest, as someone who sat on both sides of these tables, raising money and helping people decide who gets money, I just want to point something out to you, young man. I go, if you're saying you can't handle balancing a personal life and building a company till Series B, that actually says something more about you than I think you're expecting. I question whether you have the ability to do this if you can't. And I go, by the way, and it took me a while to learn this, and I know you agree with me. When you meet that right partner, there is nothing that compares to the horsepower that you get out of a strong partner at home who encourages you throughout all your ups and downs. It's unmatched. But they went and you built merchandise and you're wearing it around. It says, I cannot physically cope with managing something is not simple, or not easy, but simple as a relationship with the partner. Like, have you met the girl that you want to be with?
I bet you those startup bro culture people that have that viewpoint were the ones that had dads that were standing there watching their practice.
Very good. Yeah.
That's indicative of the culture I'm talking about.
Yeah.
And this is what's happening. We're building and grooming people into adulthood that can't sustain multiple things on the go at once because it's too much for them.
And they also they struggle to see the value of it.
Yeah.
Which is
my best partner in life when I was entrepreneuring. I mean, I'm doing less entrepreneuring these days. I'm more employee-preneuring on behalf of institutions or founders, et cetera. But when I was preneuring on my own, the only partner I had that was worth their salt was my wife. The only person I could confide in. She knew exactly what was going on. She saw the real me. She knew my fears, what was haunting me, what I was excited about. She talked me off ledges. She inspired me. So for them to intentionally not do that because it's too much for them, this is indicative of what I was saying societally of where we're heading. And it's scary, right? And not to sound like old man yelling at cloud, but this is the next generation is terrifying me for these very reasons. And it started, and I noticed it when I was in a hockey rink and I'm watching dads of 6-year-olds that can't stand outside of the practice rink. They need to watch every movement that's going on because they're scared that their kid might not do it properly. It's crazy.
That's insane. Which is why I think it's bullshit and a bad idea that you retire in your 50s. I think the business world needs leadership of people who get it.
I'm retiring in my 50s, dude. I know you don't believe me.
What are you going to do?
This is my last hurrah.
But you're going to be so bored.
No.
4 days. I give you 4 days. Listen. And you're going to be like, you're going to come up with a new idea and you're going to phone me, Potvin.
No.
Listen to this.
Okay, fine. I will do something.
Okay.
But in terms of leading a global organization, this is my last hurrah. And I'm taking that viewpoint.
That's different.
I'm taking that viewpoint because I want it to be that meaningful for me and my team to succeed. Because the way we've designed everything here is if I win, they win. And that's what I'm looking to get out of this. I want everyone else to succeed along the way and be participatory along the way and make them rich, not only monetarily, but more importantly, emotionally, empathetically, experience-wise, and outcome-driven, right?
Yeah.
So
and professionally.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good way to put a bow on it. Yeah. Exactly. So I'm taking.
Okay, I like that. I'll let you have this. Mm-hmm. Okay, because I'm tying myself to that horse.
Okay, we're finding common ground everywhere. Nobody, those people that have known us for years, they won't believe this is happening.
I can't wait to that crew on Facebook who thinks I'm a dick.
There's one girl in particular, or woman, I should say, that I know for sure is going to be like, "What is going on? How are these guys in harmony right now?"
Great. All right, so let's wrap this up, and we're going to finish this off with hot takes.
Oh.
All right, so I'm going to lead. I'm going to go first.
Okay.
And this is
Do I need to stretch and get limber?
Yeah, no, this is just basically nothing we've talked about. It's a hot take on something going on. And my commentary is on, I was scratching my head looking at the criticism the CEO of McDonald's in the US got for doing that goofy video where he ate the Big Arch and he took this little bite and what's going on? He goes, well, when he said the phrase, well, that's a big bite for the Big Arch. I'm like, oh, this is on purpose. And he went off and he did it. And it looked comical. And he's kind of a nerdy dude. So, and when you go through his Instagram feed, all of his videos are like this. He's nerdy on purpose. Mm-hmm. And everyone was going, oh, McDonald's, how could their social media team let this happen? This is insane. This was on purpose. And here's why. Mm-hmm. He got every CEO of every major and minor and mom and pop burger shop across the planet saw this, laughed, didn't see what I saw, and immediately made their own video of them eating their hamburger. But what they did was McDonald's tricked every CEO on the planet of a burger shop to make one of these videos and get all of their customers thinking about McDonald's. I think this is one of the biggest marketing wins of the last year.
Yeah, I mean, you're saying hot take. I agree. It's that simple. Done.
Awesome.
Next.
Done. Next.
Because you're seeing the forest through the trees. That was by design. I agree with it.
Yeah.
And everyone else tried to do it, and they didn't do it as well. He nailed it.
But they made them all think like everyone like whether it was Chick-fil-A or whoever, everyone's like, I'm thinking about McDonald's. I'm going to go get that big arch and see what this is all about. Maybe I can take a bigger bite than the fucking CEO.
Yeah.
It was a big win. I like that.
I'll do a hot take. Should I do one?
Yeah, you have to do a hot take.
I'm going to do a sports hot take.
Good.
I think Canadian hockey will never be the same until they get back to their roots of being rough, gritty, and rambunctious in terms of their gameplay versus being just skill-based in all respects.
If someone disagrees with that,
a lot of people will.
They didn't watch the Four Nations game where we had like 9 fights in the first 7 seconds of that one game.
Do you know why? Because they intentionally wanted an identity. See, that's the thing. When you build teams based just on skill, can they score and do this and zip around people? Sure. But at the end of the day, what are most teams building for when they get to playoffs? What are they looking for playoffs?
The win.
Grit. Guys that can just wear other guys down. Tough to move, tough to play against, vicious identity. We've lost all that as a nation.
And this, especially for Canada.
By the way, politically and societally as well, we've lost that as Canadians.
And let's get right back to our lily pad. That's where I think the country's going. We're on the same team. We are the reason the Geneva Convention exists. I'm thinking of 6 new fucking war crimes right now. This is exactly what Canadian hockey should be. I totally agree with you. Like the Hanson brothers in Slapshot.
We don't need to like make sure our guys have foil wrapped around their knuckles before they go out on the ice, but like we need big, strong hockey players that are filled with grit, purpose, identity, and passion. And
totally
until
agree.
you're tough to play against, and this isn't just a hockey thing, it's a business thing too. We don't have to be brutal. We don't have to be whatever, but we need to be tough to play against. And that's how I'm building my companies. That's how I'm building myself. That's how I'm building my kids. Because honestly, and I tell my kids this too, the generation that you're competing against right now is so soft that if you just show up and you have some form of conviction, you're going to win.
100%.
That's it.
Work harder, smarter, you're going to win.
Yeah, I think Hockey Canada needs to find their way on that.
I like it. All right. And that's our show for the Unnamed podcast.
Look at us. We did this. I'm still pissed off you didn't bring me the socks.
Okay. That's a wrap.
Look at that. We yapped. It's a lot of yapping.